Charlie Ward has been nominated by the Alliance, presumably, as the main person who will reveal details of the QFS to the public. I'm following his messages on his website to see what news he'll be allowed to release to us, but apparently March and April will be very good months. I was told about March as well. We know too, that the DS tried to crash the fiat economic system last week, and this crash was prevented. Gina Colvin-Hill noted that the Federal Reserve was dark one night last week, so presumably this had something to do with it. There are huge developments happening. Unfortunately we're privy to little of it right now because this is a military action. I'm not going to tell you to be patient because some days I lose mine, for wanting to be back together with Ivo, and frankly being done with this world as it was, but we have to just live one day at a time and celebrate whatever good news is divulged to us. Apparently, the masks are coming off in many states and the governors are standing up to JB and one even told him to F off. So thank God some people are coming to their senses. I only wish Canada would wise up to the same degree. On with our video. Ethics are important going forward. So, many of you are aware that we got to the place we got to on Earth because unethical, even pathological, people, and I'll put that word in quotes because some of them aren't human, have been running this world and the rest of us have been brainwashed into trusting them to look after our best interests, when in fact the things they have done to our children especially have been an abomination of humanity. All done behind our backs. Now that news is coming out to the masses via us, the alternative media, and with this information in mind, I think we're going to see some big changes in the future. Certainly more transparency, for one. One change that's coming is the implementation of the QFS system, which is a quantum system, not the old Microsoft computers that we've used so far. What I see will be a swing away from our old virus-susceptible technology to an impervious quantum system. I'm thinking this may even link us into the Agar-then system and perhaps extraterrestrial systems, if they allow it. The other thing I see is the med beds being released, and they say it's supposed to be this year, to help heal people of their ailments and maladies. What will happen is that there will be two systems running concurrently, the old system and the new QFS/GSRA system. You already see this because the US appears to have two formats, the corporate US and the constitutional US, which would be a legal entity, not a business entity. You already see the world dividing this way, as well as the media. You have the mainstream media which focuses on lies and propaganda, and you have the alternative media which focuses on spreading the truth. You have parts of the world that don't wear masks, and you have parts of the world still in lockdown. I believe what this has to do with is what people believe in. If you believe the MSM you can still watch it, but the alternative media is only growing stronger and stronger, for example. Which reminds me, folks, when you are meditating, please send white light to Jerusalem. What's going on there is the nightmare none of us want to see in our own countries. They are being forced to get the V. Earth is splitting. I believe you see the new timelines in observing this. As you may have guessed, I'm not a person who's been a lover of the system. I've never been able to get into it, to knuckle down and earn my keep like others have been made to. One of the reasons for this is because I don't particularly value money, or working to earn money to live from. My soul knows a better way, and that way has been the way of many civilizations out in the galaxy for eons. My soul knows that God will provide for you, unless, like in our case here on Earth, someone intervenes to control the supply. We have loads of dirty crooks being rounded up and put on trial now. Some have even been executed. But where are the new leaders who only want the best for this earth and our service to others, not greedy service to self-leaders? Where are they? Some are the ones you're seeing in politics. I believe they've been put through trial by fire. You see that Mr. T has had to determine at the very last moment, who was loyal to his agenda and who was just paying lip service to it. And I believe some of you are like me. You don't care about money as much as you care about helping the people on this planet. You may also have been put through your own trial by fire. I'm going to let Ivo describe the process of awakening you to your true values. Ivo, I will describe what Sharon went through throughout her life. Sharon came from a family where her father earned good money as a white-collar office worker, and her mother managed the money with an iron fist. All extras were spared, spending was not extravagant. The first thing Sharon did upon moving out was begin to spend money in a way her mother decided was excessive. The Toyota sedan her mother drove was not good enough for Sharon, who opted instead for a V8 sports car. Her purse habit and penchant for buying clothing to bolster her sagging mood were noteworthy. Sharon had felt deprived of all these goodies while living with her parents, and she indulged herself with gusto upon leaving that home. Food was another thing Sharon had felt deprived of, and she made up for it upon moving out. Me, I did. Never looked at it that way, Ivo. Ivo, our job was to help you find the truth of your relationship to money. When you were in your 20s you were not living the truth, you were a part of the lie. The only way you could continue to be that way was to repress your emotions, which is something your father had taught you to do. You were then very susceptible to mind control because you had suppressed your intuition and your higher emotional inputs, thus your conscience as well, and so you became an expression of the matrix. Me, Tertian had done his job. Reptilians, 1, light, 0. Ivo, he had, indeed. He had you living what you believed was the good life, because of course, you did not believe that living with your parents was a good life at all. You felt being alone and buying many treats for yourself was the way you had to live to feel good, so you did this. Me, yes. Every day was Christmas Day back then. And the thing is, I gave it all away when I moved to Europe. Ivo, except for items that people had given you as mementos. You kept those. The rest, including your Firebird and the floor model TV, were given away or sold off. Your mother was overseeing this to ensure that your siblings made out well, and they did. Me, yes, that was when I gave away the expensive vacuum cleaner to my brother. Washing machines, dryers, TVs, cookware, dishes, everyone got something and the house was sold. Ivo, so you learned this is just replaceable stuff. You need it for a while, but it is replaceable. This was part of your trial by fire. Me, so then I moved to Europe. Ivo, you lived and worked in London, as a temp. You could not commit to any job because of the abuse you had been exposed to in Niagara Falls, so you tempied, never staying anywhere long enough to really get to know the staff you worked with. You had money from the sale of the house and your paychecks, but you started to run out of money. You were on a quest to find yourself and the money came in second. Your cash ran out and again, you gave everything to the lady at the laundromat who took it for her daughter who was living in poverty. Me, yes. She even took some of my clothes. Ivo, eventually, you went back to Toronto, and started again. You tempied, though. You would not commit to a job, so this made things a bit more difficult. You were good at getting jobs whenever you needed to. Money was less important. Time off was more important to you, time you spent alone with yourself for the most part. You only took a full-time job just before you went into dark night of the soul. That way you were insured when your doctor wrote you off on long-term disability. Me, yeah, smart, Ivo, you had good advisors, my love. Take this permanent job, you will not stay there for long. Already, you had started to use the law of attraction in order to manifest what you needed. But you were learning that your mental health was more important than money, and particularly working for a living. Did you have setbacks? Yes. When you were with Glenn for 3 years, who took your money and did nothing for your mental health either. However, for the most part, you were learning that money is only a means to an end, nothing more. It is not the determiner of your lifestyle, you are. When you left Toronto, you left most of your furniture and many personal belongings behind because you could not move them. Me, I could have rented a truck, they're cheap enough to do so and I had enough to do it. I wish I'd done it because I would have had more of my stuff with me and wouldn't have had to replace it. Ivo, nonetheless, you did replace it. You lived with little money and had the whole day available to do your spiritual work. And you did it. You have much time to watch what happened in your life and to make decisions about yourself and who you were attracting. You realized that your happiness was more important than earning money. You realized that money is not the road to happiness as you had believed in your 20s. You realize now, years afterwards, that money pays the bills and buys necessities, and your spiritual development is more important than money is. You have a greater wish to see peace on earth than you do for prosperity, but if they both exist, then that is fine. You have learned that money is only a means to an end in your system. You have stopped allowing it to control you. You do not believe that it buys happiness anymore. You understand that you can be happy with or without it. You no longer fear the responsibility of having a lot of it. Me, just to make a point, Ivo, how did I show that money controlled me? Ivo, you worked for it, for example, and it influenced your moods. When you had no money, you lamented that fact. When you had some, you were happy. These are examples of someone who is controlled by money. There are people on your planet that have no money and are happy, my love. Look at how you buy food for your neighbors. All you want to do is give to people. You love to give them donuts. You love to make them happy. Despite what your neighbor had intended for you, you still give them much happiness. You have learned the lesson, my love. Money can buy donuts, and if donuts are what makes them happy, then so be it. If it is music that makes them happy, play music for them. If it is taking them for a ride in the car, then take them for a ride in the car. Do you see? Money is not your ruler. Not like it was your mother's. This is the type of leader we will see in Earth's future. One who has the best interests of all at heart, not their own greed. Your world has been run by greedy rulers for so long, and many have learned their ways. This will change as you have new role models to follow. People like Sharon who would rather give her money away to make others happy than keep it for a rainy day. Sharon is secure with her money now that we have gone through the abundance videos we did earlier. All it took was for her to stop fearing not having enough. She even took out payday loans a couple times in order that she would have enough, and when she broke the cycle of fear, she now no longer fears not having enough, and she has enough for herself. Me, nope. Even getting my foot bath detox this month. I'm getting good at shopping when things are on sale too. That's my inner guidance helping me out. Ivo, break the cycle of the fear of not having enough. Stop saying, I am broke, because you are, yes, misusing the I am power of God within you, and creating negative circumstances for yourself. Sharon could only do this by taking out a payday loan to last until her next check, but it worked. She repaid the loans promptly and had increased book sales to cover their cost. Me, the only thing to do with money is to help others. That's all I want. Ivo, so you learned from when you were 20, when buying yourself all kinds of goodies was your motivation for working. You went through times of severe lack of funds, you went through times when you marginally had more than you needed. You have never been rich. But you learned. You learned to take care of yourself with what you had and learned not to waste any. Me, if I were rich, I'd help people with it. I've been at the open end of a kitchen cupboard with no food in it. Glenn taught me to use the food bank, and I had to swallow my pride and do it to keep myself from being hungry. Ivo, you have had many experiences and the ones that taught you the most were the ones you call the bad ones. Negativity is a good teacher. Me, yes, suffice it to say, my cupboards are pretty full these days, though. I don't let that run down and I make sure I have all I want to cook. Ivo, you spend little else except for books, and artwork for implant communications. Me, and bills. Yes. I wish I had a lot more because I'd give it away. Ivo, that time will come, my love. Me, it's the only use of money, to give it to help others who don't have any. Ivo, I will say nothing more. Look how you have changed over the years, folks. What lessons have you learned about money? One is you can love it or you can hate it, but right now we have to live with it without letting it run our lives.